In these times, it may be difficult to find someone to play board games with. I have tried on far too many occasions to play with the cat. And there are two very embarrassing things I need to report. One, Karis is better at board games than you might suspect. And two, she gets bored and wanders off quickly. This has led me to look for alternative solutions, and what you will see now are my 3 top picks for board games to play online with your friends. Hey everyone, Tyrant Director here, and what I just discussed and what you saw in that little intro clip is exactly the truth. No, I don't actually try to play games with my cat. However, right now we really are trying to find ways to remain socially connected while physically distanced. And to that end, I went looking for board games that I could play online with my friends that would keep us entertained, potentially for however long this is going to go on. And reality is that these are great things that you can play other times. There's times when you can't get together for various reasons. You might be a little under the weather, or physical distance. Like, I've got friends across the province, across the country, across the continent, and this would give me an opportunity to play games with them even though we can't actually get in the same place together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down my top 3 games. I'm going to go over the reasons why they're my top 3, and hopefully you will enjoy this and get something out of this. So the 3 games that top my list are all good digital representations of their physical counterparts, and they share some key traits. First, they all have a solid enough solo mode that you can learn a new game easy and entertain yourself while you do it. Though it's been so long since I went through the solo mode for these and the tutorials, I'm not including them in my review, but if you are interested in these games, I do recall them being fairly straightforward. Second, they all allow remote play via Steam. So if you're playing them on your PC and your friend who also has Steam but doesn't have the game, it gives you the opportunity to play the game sharing your copy with your friend or friends. Now, I haven't actually tried this much, but theoretically you could invite 2 or 3 friends on via Steam and you'd be able to use your copy of the game just like you would if you had a physical copy of the game. The other piece, and the one that was most important to me, was that these games have cross-platform play support. And that means that if a player has a copy of these games on their Android phone or their iPad or their Mac or on their PC, you can all play together very easily. In this particular case, our number 1 pick, I've played something like 10 hours with my friends already. And in that case, we have 1 person on Android, 1 person on iPad, we've got people on PC, and it works great. And you couldn't tell that they're on different devices. We are all seeing the same thing, we're all having the same experience. So I think it's great. Now, in all cases, once your friends have registered, adding their different accounts is fairly simple, and once you've got that, you just need to choose your chat app of choice. We've been using Discord. It's free and works, and it doesn't garble too much when you've got a lot of people talking, and no one Zoom bombs you while you're on Discord. So with that preamble out of the way, excuse me, here are my top 3 digital adaptations of board games. At number 3 is Carcassonne. This is a great adaptation of the classic tile laying game with a couple of cool tools that help you, including remaining tiles, which I feel is kind of like a cheat because it tells you that whether or not there's a possibility of a tile to finish off that city you're working on. A feature that highlights the valid placement of your current tile, which I know I've got some friends that when we play Carcassonne, they take forever to actually get the play going. And my favorite one is the field function, which highlights just how far your fields expand across the gameplay area. The downside of this and why it's at number 3 is the AI is slow, and I mean dirt slow. you could probably actually play a physical copy of the game faster than you could playing with the AIs. It's the one major downfall. They take forever. Slow enough that I thought the game had crashed at several points. As far as the aesthetics go, the game looks great, as you can see here, and has some great animations as well as excellent camera control that lets you view it as a flat surface or in an isometric view. Now, for the second spot is the set collecting game Ticket to Ride. Due to the digital nature of the game, it easily enables the highlighting of the routes that your tickets are targeting, so no more forgetting that you need to link Kansas on your way to New York City. Like Carcassonne, there are some neat game animations. However, overall Ticket to Ride is fairly basic. It doesn't have near as much interactivity, but it is a more simple game. The better part of it is the AI is quick. You can play through a game in under 20 minutes very quickly. The top tier AI is not gonna quite prep you for any grand tournaments of Ticket to Ride, but it is solid and will give you a bit of a run for your money. They definitely don't just hate grab routes that they think you're going for. They pretty much focus on their routes and completing their routes. Occasionally they'll block you, but they're not aggressive enough to give you a solid player like my friend Aaron. Probably wouldn't get a strong run for his money with the tougher AIs. Now my last pick is Lords of Waterdeep. This worker placement game with the D&D setting in the metropolis of Waterdeep is a super faithful representation of the actual board game. It's got great animation, including a beautiful day-night cycle and a dragon that just flies around the city while you're playing. It's beautiful. There's some odd audio things, like when you get corruption, it makes this weird sound, and you kind of wonder what's going on. You kind of feel like, is someone on the chat having a problem with what you're doing? You don't know. The advanced AI is solid. It will make efforts to attack you. So if you're playing by yourself, you will have some of a challenge. However, they sometimes feel like when they're distributing resources either to squares or to players, it's pretty random and doesn't necessarily make the most sense. But it's a game and you can play it and it's great. The AI is also quick, so a long game, which would probably be an hour 20 in a physical, you can probably play in 45 minutes or less with the AI. So you can actually get lots of games in a short period of time if you're interested, or if you just want to knock one out. There's some other cool features about this game that are not super relevant, but it's fun just to see. One of the things is you can set a time limit, because all of these games allow you to play not real time. So you can play and someone's got 24 hours to make their decision. We tend to play with a 30-minute or hour-long chess clock effectively with Lords of Waterdeep. Not because we're overly concerned about people taking too long, but we're just curious as to who is the longest player, and the person that it was actually fairly surprising. But it's just a great little feature that they've got included in this. The biggest thing with Lords of Waterdeep in particular is that there is a finish your move button that's in the lower right hand corner that people forget to click, and you sometimes wonder, hey, have you finished your turn yet? Oh yeah, I forgot to finish. So that's the only real gotcha, but otherwise it is a phenomenal game. And if you're looking for something to play, I really encourage you to look at that one first. The other great part about all of these games that I just talked about is their price point's fairly low. On Steam right now, I believe the most expensive one might be around $12, and on iOS and Android, they range anywhere from about $6 to $10. So not a big investment for everyone to buy a copy, which is great because, let's face it, especially if you already have a physical copy of the game, and if you are in a household with 2 or 3 of you that want to play, having to shell out $12 or $15 or $30 for a digital version of a game you already own a physical copy of might be hard to swallow. In this particular case, it wasn't an issue for any of our couples at play to pick this up in addition to all the rest of the stuff they're doing. I hope that this video finds you all healthy and safe, and that if you have any of your own favorite I hope that if you have any of your own favorite digital adaptations of board games, leave them in the comments below, and maybe I'll take a look at them and do a bit of a review, or perhaps we can play a game sometime. You might notice that what's on my screen over here is a little different than what was on my screen in the intro shot, and that's what happens when technology fails you and you have to re-record your outro because your GoPro didn't capture the last 30 seconds. So I'm actually recording this on editing day. In any case, thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit the notification bell and the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. And until next time, work your wonk, wash your damn hands, and keep it geeky.